Hey guys, welcome to the channel. I'm Zmore, the dad in DPS, and we're back with another episode of Scrip My Pants, where I spend Scrip at the purveyor and see if we get anything fun, interesting, or I can scrap. Either way, like, comment, subscribe, let's get on with this junk. Alrighty, we've got 4,000 Scrip to spend, and to be honest, we're probably going to use most of it on legendary ranged weapons. So first off, what we've got is Zealot's Fat Man with limb damage and reload speed. The reload speed is a good effect, but the other two are absolute pants, and it's on a Fat Man, so just meh. Next up, we have pretty much the same, though critical damage in middle and reload speed on this 50 cal is decent. That, yeah, we'll probably scrap that because two of the effects are good at the very least. The top effect is pants. Mutant Slayer's auto grenade launcher will replenish action points and faster movement speed while aiming. Yeah, script weapon, absolutely script. None of the effects on there are really interesting to me, and the weapon itself is just yeah. Nocturnal, the dragon with action point on kill and agility. You know, agility could be viable and usable later on, so we'll probably scrap that just to try and get that off there. But in terms of like the weapon, it's just nothing good on it whatsoever. Same pretty much goes for this one. Again, the perception is probably worth getting off there for future, future proofing certain things, because they are adding a lot of perks that take bonuses from the amount of a certain thing you have. So yeah, that's probably going to be viable in a sense, but everything else on there is absolute pants. It's a short western revolver. I like them, but yeah, nothing on there really wowed me. Bloodied short lever action with damage while aiming and resistance while reloading. Now this one's actually not bad. If you're going for a free aiming build, this could be very viable and fun to use. Damage resistance while reloading, not so much, but you know, you could put on reload speed on there, and this would actually be quite a fun weapon to play around with. So we might keep that, we might not. I'm really not 100% sure because I have loads of the kind of older style weapons. Berserker's Pipe Revolver with damage while aiming and 90% reduced weight. Damage while aiming and the weight reduction definitely worth getting off there, but Berserker's not so much. It's a pipe revolver, so I'm not overly fussed about keeping them unless they're like a god roll when we get them. But you know, there is options there. I could move some stuff around. Instigating Hellstorm Missile Launcher with limb damage and free perception. Everything about it screams scrap me. Scrap me, please scrap me. It's on the wrong character as well. I don't use heavy weapons on this character, so yeah, don't want that. Quad Black Powder Blunderbuss with limb damage and damage resistance while aiming. Now, quad, probably a good effect on this weapon, but limb damage and damage resistance while aiming, no. Maybe scrap it, maybe scrap it. Don't know. Not keeping it. Stupid ball bag gun. Then we have the Furious short gamma gun with weapon speed and resistance while aiming. Furious is one of those effects that I think is actually better than people give it credit for, but at the same time, it's not that great. You know, Aristocrats just takes a big old dump on it basically. And then you've got weapon speed. We'll probably scrap this to try and get that off there on different characters, but overall, yeah, not interested in that weapon whatsoever. Medic short double barrel with weapon speed and weight reduction. Weapon speed and weight reduction definitely worth getting off of here. I could put stuff on that top effect, but again, I have a lot of double barrel shotguns. I don't need another one, and I have a lot of god roll ones that exist. I'd be just putting that effect on there just because. So probably worth scrapping to learn the effects rather than anything else. Gormon's Pepper Shaker with bashing damage and resistance while aiming. Yeah, Gormon's not an effect I'm eager to learn because it's just bad. Bashing damage, not good at all, and resistance while aiming, that one's definitely scrapped, unfortunately. What the hell? Instigating Pepper Shaker with limb damage, free agility. I will scrap it to try and get the free agility off there. Instigating is an effect I want to learn as well, so there's two effects on there I want off of there, so that one's getting scrapped for certain. No good weapons so far. Vampire's Fat Man with VAT hit chance and breaks 50% slower. Because it's a Fat Man, none of those effects really jam well for me, so I'm probably going to scrap that just to get the effects off of there, and that could help me out in the long term, because weapons break slower will be a very, durability is just a good effect to learn, so we definitely want to learn that. What is this Pepper Shaker evening? Medic's Pepper Shaker with VAT hit chance and faster movement speed while aiming. Scrap rather. It's going back in the machine. Nothing on there is really overly wowing me, sadly. Yeah, not a damn thing. This one is also going in the scrap pile because damage while aiming and weapons break slower are definitely two effects that we could benefit from learning. Suppressors, not so much. Though suppressors is an effect that I probably will use in the raids just to see how viable it is for maintaining people staying alive and whatnot, but we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. Next up, we have the instigate. We're getting a lot of instigating tonight. Instigating combat shotgun with limb damage and action point cost. We'll probably scrap that because again, I've got a lot of shotguns, and two of those effects are very good to learn. But yeah, nothing on there that is overly wowing me. Hunter's short laser, critical damage, and resistible aiming. This one's probably Scrip because Hunter's bad effect, steadfast bad effect. Vital, not bad, but I've got that on like 3 characters, so I don't need vital. Anti-armor ultrasight Gatling laser with action point cost on each kill and action point cost. Now this one could be fun to use in the next patch because they are actually reducing the action point cost of heavy weapons. I can't remember if ultrasight Gatling lasers are on that list. I could be completely way off on that, but if they are, then this is going to be fun to use. I might put this in storage to play around with later. We'll definitely see, but it won't be until after the next patch. But again, we will see. We will see. Medic short flamer with damage while aiming and action point cost. Medics, yeah, same reason I don't really like it and other things. I think maybe in the raids it's going to be viable, but not right now. Damage while aiming, decent effect. Action point cost, decent effect. Not on a flamer though, so we'll probably scrap that to try and get that off of there. But you know what the chances of that are. Same pretty much goes for this one. Again, we could keep it for future because this is potentially something that could be fun to use when the action point cost of heavy weapons is reduced, and then you've got the new armor that's coming in that has a bonus that reduces it even further. So this could be viable later on. Furious is not a bad effect on this type of weapon because you will ramp up that damage pretty quick, and then if you're using it in VATS, quite a lot of crits could flow like out of this really well. But we'll see. That's definitely an interesting one for the future. And same can be said for this one, 2-shot Gatling laser with damage while aiming and reload speed. Now you could put explosive on that middle effect, and then that would be a 2-shot explosive god roll. I'm quite impressed with it. I'm getting a lot of Gatling lasers, quite a lot of Gatling lasers that have decent effects on it. Overall, this is definitely a 2-shot god roll of some form. So yeah, I'm happy with that as well. I like weird weapons, let's be honest. Zealot's Black Powder Rifle with weapon speed and VATS action critical charge. Absolute pants, but we're going to scrap it to try and get the 2 effects off there. If it had quad on there, it would be potentially more viable, but weapon speed on this weapon is just very silly because, what are you going to do with it? Like, it's literally got 1 shot normally. So, yeah, no. Just dumb effect to be on that. Mutant's Black Powder Rifle, Black Powder Blunderbuss rather, with replenish action points, movement speed, Scrip. Nothing on there is making me want to use it. Absolute Scrip. Medic's Short Plasma Pistol with weapon speed and resistance while aiming. Again, Medic's not the effect I'm too interested in. Weapon speed is still very much something I'm interested in, but I'm not as interested in the other things because I have a lot of characters with rapid, but I can always pass it over to a character that needs it to scrap it. And the same, well, actually the same doesn't go for this. I need to scrap this to try and get those effects off there and see what we can get, but either that, it's going in the Scrip bin. I don't really know. Berserker's Tesla Rifle with last shot and action point cost. Now last shot I do definitely need to learn, as do with the action point cost thing. Everything, just the effects don't mesh well for the weapon, so it will be getting scrapped on that basis. Berserker's Submachine Gun with bullets explode for weapon damage and free strength. 2 very good effects on there on a gun that I genuinely like. I don't think this is worth using over the Elder's Mark. The Elder's Mark is so superior to it, so yeah, we will scrap that to try and get those 2 very good and juicy effects off there. And Instigating Alien Disintegrator with weapon speed and 90% weight reduction. Now, weapon speed and instigating don't really go together, but, and I do say but, if we put a high power receiver on there, maybe it's gonna take out a lot of things easily in a 1 shot. Might be worth using, might be worth changing an effect or 2 out of it. Well, effect or two. One effect out of it. Yeah, that's going in the keep pile. Definitely going in the keep pile. I love alien disintegrators, I won't lie. Assassin's Ultrasight Gatling Laser with VATS hit chance and reload speed. Reload speed is the only good effect on there that I'm really that concerned about. VATS hit chance is okay, but it's one of those effects that I wouldn't deliberately put on a weapon half the time. Bloodied 50 cal with last shot and free perception. Last shot on a 50 cal is just not usable. Free perception, again, we want the future proof, but this is pretty much a scrap weapon. There's free good effects on it. Well, yeah, free good effects, just not on this. Not on this. Bloody's the only one that makes sense, to be honest. Assassin's 10mm pistol with replenish action points and resistance while reloading. Is Scrip. Scrip, definitely Scrip. It's going in the Scrip bin. 100% in the Scrip bin. Not worth scrapping, definitely worth scrapping. Zealot's 10mm pistol with limb damage and reload speed. Reload speed is worth scrapping something for, but those effects are just absolute pish. Then we have the Troubleshooter's Dragon with damage while aiming and VATS critical charge. Again, two good effects that we could potentially learn off of this on a weapon that is absolute dog. So yeah, we will be scrapping that to get the juicy effects. Vampire's Railway Rifle with last shot and weight reduction. Now, I've got plenty of Vampire Railway Rifles, God rolls, that yeah, this is just... I think it's scrap time for this weapon. We could get Vampires, we could get last shot, we could get the weight reduction. Three decent kind of things to learn. Bloodied 10mm submachine gun with damage while aiming and reload speed. Now, technically a God roll, technically, but the problem with this weapon is it's just not very good. I mean, it's a decent little pull, definitely a decent little pull, but not something I like. It's one of those weapons that I'm not really that happy to use. If I could modify the anchorage ace, I'd be so happy. You know, if I could change it and like have these effects on the anchorage ace, I'd be a lot happier, but that is what it is, I suppose. 6 more to go. Instigating crossbow with limb damage and VATS critical charge. Now this is a decent one. Change out that middle effect for the additional critical charge. This could be a very good head popping crossbow. I do like random weapons and things like that. So yeah, I'm actually quite happy with that. Put on plasma rounds or fire, and then you could end up with some pretty interesting effects from this. But that is what it is. Then we have the Stalker's Short Plasma Pistol with damage while aiming, free endurance. This one is definitely in the scrap pile because, again, two decent effects that we could potentially learn out of it, but nothing really. I don't really want to mod it into something better. I've got way too many of them, to be honest. Mutant Short Assault Rifle, bash damage, nothing on there is good. That's scrap, Scrip rather, if there ever was any. I really need to find another word. Scrip or scrap? Scrip or scrap? Mutant's minigun with weapon speed and bonus critical charge. Definitely a Scrip, not a scrap weapon. Two good effects on there. Mutants is okay, but it's not something I deliberately put on, so learning it becomes completely pointless. So yeah, not a keeper. Ghoul Slayer's Crusader Pistol with critical damage and free agility. Free agility and critical damage, definitely worth learning. I do love a Crusader Pistol, but the effects together don't really add up to save me. It is definitely scrap. And our last weapon for tonight, Nocturnal Black Powder Blunderbuss with damage while aiming and resistance while aiming. Yeah, that one's probably Scrip. Either way, let's see if we've got a top pick or two. Now, I think the first pick I'm going to go for is this one. Now, this is going to be interesting to use later on. I do think the action point cost is potentially usable on this weapon later with the new armor set or power armor that's coming in with the next patch. On top of that, if we change out that middle effect for something else, maybe explosive, faster fire rate, damage while aiming. There is, well, not damage while aiming, that's not going to help. Explosive or faster fire rate or crit, I suppose. This could be an interesting weapon to use in VATS. I'd be eager to see how it works. And again, I'd be remiss to not acknowledge that this is a god roll of some sorts. There's lots of good effects on there. It's just not a very good weapon. And this is the kind of thing I hope they look into when they're reworking, obviously, the perks and things like that they look into certain weapons and rework them to make them a bit more viable, a bit more fun, and a bit more usable. Adding a silencer to this weapon would make it infinitely better. and I would be eagerly using it in stealth builds. And the last pick I'm going to mention is the 2-shot Gatling laser with damage blaming and reload speed. Technically a god roll in its own right. You know, you could replace 2-shot with just about any really good damaging effect, and you would have a pretty solid, you know, damage aiming weapon. But at the same time, this could become something fun and funnier if you put explosive on that middle effect. But, you know, well, neither here nor there with it. Now, the lucky or unlucky thing with this character is they have pretty much not many things learned. So, just about everything we can scrap tonight, we can potentially, well, anything we can scrap tonight can be learned by them. So, we are going to be scrapping pretty much just about everything that I said we were going to scrap because, you know, I want to learn plans. And it will be interesting to see if we get any. Don't know why I scrapped that, I didn't mean to, but it's too late now, isn't it? Furious, we were going to keep you, we were going to get rid of you. You've got agility and crit on you, so we'll try and learn you. There's absolutely nothing on that. Got the critical effect in the middle. I was going to keep you as well. I've got way too many of you, so we'll get rid of you. We're going to keep you as well, get rid of that. Next, why? Just why? Just a combination of very poor effects. We have no interest in that on here. That's a chance in that. Nope. Get rid of that. Get rid of that. We're really not learning anything tonight. Get rid of you. Nah. Nah. Get rid of you. Nah. That's got an effect I want. As does this. I'm probably going to learn like the most. I kind of want a character with quad. I've still not learned quad on anything. And this is the kind of thing, like, you can scrap so many items and get absolutely pants out of it. But then, technically, you've only got a 1 in 100 chance of learning an effect off items. So, you know, don't lose faith. It will happen. I've done it on so many other characters, so, you know, you just kind of have to brute force it and scrap as much as you possibly can, you know, and that's the kind of name of the game at this moment. Just scrap until you learn things. Yeah, unfortunately we didn't learn a damn thing, but that is what it is. So yeah, that was tonight's video, guys. We got some usable stuff, definitely some usable stuff. I'm a bit disappointed we didn't learn any plans, but to be honest, you know, 40 items, your chances of getting a plan from that are actually quite slim, and I scrap an absolute ton of stuff, and I've learned a bunch of really good plans recently on other characters that's allowed me to finish gear. So to be honest, I'm not gonna complain because I've been very lucky, very, very, very lucky. Either way, guys, if you've enjoyed today's video, don't forget to leave a like, comment, and subscribe, and we'll catch you all next time in the Wasteland.
In a world of rust and danger, where the shadows dance and linger, there's a merchant with a smile so sly, trading treasures, oh my, my. In the glow of old neon lights, she makes the midnight markets bright with a wink. She shifts the scene, dreams for sale from the unseen, purvey a murmur with a mystic tune, selling whims beneath the moon. In the ruins, a heart so grand, turning rubble into golden sand. Wares like whispers in the breeze, carry secrets from the chart trees, gems and trinkets, rare delight, found in the shadows of the night. In a landscape rough and eerie, she spins tales never weary, with each trade a glint of grace.